Well, hello.
Hi.
Welcome. We have Joy McCarthy here on the podcast today, and we're going to chat all about your businesses. And I say multiple because we'll chat about Hello Joyous and Joyous Health. So, I guess to get us started, let's talk about like what the differences are between the two, and
hmm
then just like your overall like MO with your brands.
Yeah, totally. So I do have two businesses. Joyous Health is like my personal brand. So I'm a holistic nutritionist and I started Joyous Health back in like 2008, 2009. And that was like an online hub of content for people to get healthy living inspiration, where I have hundreds of recipes. And I was really just on a mission to bring more joy and wellness to people's lives. And I still work on that business as a nutritionist and I have a few cookbooks. I'm working on my fourth cookbook, which is really exciting. So that's all under my personal brand.
I
And
love
then I
that.
also have an organic plant powered beauty brand that I co founded with my husband Walker called Hello Joyous. So, yes, I used to be my nickname back when I was in the corporate world used to be Joyous. So that's kind of like both businesses are, my name is in there, but really, our with both brands, we always want people to feel like when they come to our website or they experience one of our products that they feel like that our products are friendly and our position and what we share is approachable and makes you feel good. And so that's ultimately out of like with both brands, we really want people to experience joy. And, I know it sounds like kind of funny, but like when they make a recipe of mine, I want them to have good digestion and have good energy. And those are all things that bring you joy.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a whole other level of cooking too, right? Like in the recipes, people are not just following along to eat something that tastes good, that may have like, I don't know, a lot of like salt or sugar or fat or whatever it may be. Like the way that you curate your recipes and put them together is really to paying attention to someone's health and what they
Yes.
need for that digestion and for all of that, which I think is cool. And, I mean, there's a good amount of like recipe books out there now, but I feel like the ones that are very much focused, that are health conscious, are hard to find where like it resonates with you as well,
hmm
right?
Yeah. Well,
What was,
sorry, go ahead.
no, go for it.
I was just going to say I totally get what you're saying because a big part of when I was writing my first cookbook, I really thought about the fact that who is the person who's going to pick up this book? Are they going to want this book to have recipes with ingredients that they're like, I don't even know what that is. I don't know where to
Yeah, that's
find
a good
that.
point too.
Yeah, so I really wrote my cookbooks from the perspective of I want everyone to be able to make these recipes. And selfishly, this is how I cook. When I have so many cookbooks. I love buying cookbooks,
They're
but the
fun.
ones I use the most are ingredients that I can find at my local
Easily.
grocery store. And I also thought, someone who lives in like northern Canada or northern Ontario and doesn't have a health food store, I want them to be able to go to their grocery store and find the ingredients. So I've always been very focused on making sure that my recipes are healthy, but also tasty and with ingredients that you can find. Back in the day, sure, like chia seeds and quinoa may have been a little bit more obscure, but
Yeah.
nowadays, like
They're everywhere
everyone
now,
knows,
yeah.
yeah, and so many things you can buy online, anyways. But yeah, that
Mm.
was that was definitely I really like thought about that approach, and I wanted to make sure that my cookbooks and all the hundreds of free recipes I have online are always approachable, but that you're going to come back to them because it tastes really good. Because a lot of people think that
Mhm.
healthy food can't taste good. Maybe
Yeah.
not so much now, but I feel like back in the day,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it's been
yeah,
debunked a
healthy.
little.
Yeah, healthy does taste good, and when the amazing thing is when you eat more nutritious foods, then you actually taste things more. Like it enhances your taste buds when you're getting more zinc. Zinc
Mm.
is such an important mineral for taste. So when you're eating lots of variety of whole foods, then your taste perception changes positively as well. You just taste more things.
Yeah, interesting. I a few years back got off the pill and did like a liver detox
Oh,
and
amazing.
followed like very specific recipes. Like I bought a book, I think it was called Beyond the Pill, and
Okay,
like
yes, I know that
so
book.
she put together basically like a series of like recipes. I also had like this like detox powder that I had done for I don't know, maybe like a week or two before that. But then I was just following a recipe, and it's like you basically match it to your cycle and you make sure that you're
I
getting the right
love that.
nutrients, this and that. It was amazing. I loved it. However, talking about like finding ingredients, I was
Uh,
hunting. Like I don't live in a big city right now. And
okay.
so I've had to go, like I jumped to basically every single grocery store. Some of the ingredients I kind of had to find alternative because like dandelion greens didn't exist here.
Yeah.
You know, there's like random shit where like I literally went to every single store to try and find it. And like that accessibility standpoint, it was very like empowering and great to do that for myself and for my body. But like the amount of work that went into actually like putting those recipes together,
Yeah.
finding the ingredients that I needed was like, oh my God, it was really like something else. So
Yeah,
I could
that sounds
definitely
like it.
appreciate, I could definitely appreciate like kind of like the best of both worlds, using the ingredients that like everyone kind of has access to, but like
Yes.
elevating them in a way using your seasonings and whatever combinations. And I mean, like you would know better than me, but
No, but even something like that, like dandelion greens are available for such like a short time period. But like telling people, like if I had a recipe with
see,
dandelion
I didn't
greens,
even know that.
yeah, I would let people know, hey, you could also use Swiss chard, you could use beet greens. So I think it's like
Yeah, I think
giving
I
people the
Googled like
options.
alternatives. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I had
right.
to
But
Google alternatives for sure.
yeah, but I feel like providing that information is really like it's
Mm,
helpful if you had known that ahead of time. Not to criticize that person's recipe. I know who you're talking about, and
yeah.
I follow her and love her as well.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking a lot about this is kind of like more in your personal brand space with the recipes. So then when you started Hello Joyous, what made you want to start the company and then create all of these products? Obviously, it sounds like a natural extension, but I'm curious to
Yeah.
know like what your thought process was and how it really began.
Well, I'm glad you said that because it definitely was very natural and a very organic transition.
Hmm.
Several years ago, I was making my own products. I was making my own lip balms, and I was taking different courses and learning how to make other things like body butter. And my online community was always asking me, what natural products do I use? What
Mm.
sunscreen do I recommend? What moisturizers do
What
I use?
sunscreen do you recommend though? I need to
Oh
know.
yeah. I really like Consonant for the face. For the face, I like a
Okay.
tinted sunscreen.
Yeah.
They're a Canadian company as well. And for the body, I like Green Beaver. I also like Think Baby. For the body, just I like zinc based, mineral based sunscreens are always what I use on my
Hmm.
face and on my body. Mineral based can be a little bit like it has a whitening effect, which is
Yes.
why you need a tint.
Oh, okay. So that's what the difference is. This is like a really kind of like
Yes.
off tangent, but because I've been wanting, and I have been kind of transitioning to natural sunscreen. I've been using it on my face forever.
Yep.
But on my body, I feel like it's just a pain in the ass because it's like so hard to rub in because it's so white.
Yes. Yes, yes. So I
But
find
yeah,
the
like I
Green
guess the
Beaver
tinted
one,
helps.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Green Beaver one, I find it does go on a bit white at first, but then it absorbs in.
Hmm.
It has like a bit of a tackiness to it, and
Yeah,
then
that's it. It's
it's
not as like smooth. But what if they like
yeah.
they can't maybe you would know this, like they can't put in something to like make it a little creamier, or is that basically gonna like
Well, they
defeat the
can,
purpose and then it's gonna
yeah.
have the preservatives and blah 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 blah, right?
Well, there's a group of chemicals that are silicones, and silicones now we're finding that they could be potentially worse than microplastics.
Hmm.
And silicones are something that I always avoid, like dimethicones. There's a whole all different types of silicones that
Hmm.
conventional beauty brands put in products, and that like gives the product a bit of slick feel. So
Yeah.
you'll see it in shampoo and conditioner. You see it in sunscreens a lot, and it
Hmm.
gives that like it removes that tackiness. But from an environmental perspective, I always avoid those because they go into our lakes and rivers. Like when we wash our
Hmm.
face, it just goes back into the environment. So there's different chemicals and ingredients that I want to avoid. So when you're using a natural product, yeah, when it comes to sunscreen, it can have a bit of that stickiness, unfortunately. But it's just one of
It's
those
worth it.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's worse ingredients than silicones, but that's just one category that when you said that, like that gives it like more slick. But
Hmm.
I would personally avoid them.
Yeah. Okay, fair. Okay, go on. So you were making all of these products. I was like, I need to know this, and I'm gonna
Yeah, yeah,
forget if I
no,
don't ask
it's
right now.
yeah, it's all good.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it
so
started
I
off
was
with you
making
making all
products.
these
Yeah,
products.
exactly. Then my community, and I was just like giving them to family and friends,
Mm-hmm.
and people just kept asking me about it because I would share on social media what I was making. And this is like quite a few years back. And then we decided, okay, well, like, let's take this. So my husband, Walker, is my business partner. And we were talking about it. And we were like, you know what? Let's take this to another level. Like, why can't we sell this to the Joyous Health community? Why can't we hire someone to manufacture our products for us and we sell them? So we started doing that like several years ago. Our body butter became like our best seller. All things were going well. But the challenge was that we were running Joyous Health. Then we had all these products under the Joyous Health brand. I was doing speaking. I was working with clients one on one, working on my books, working on content. It was like, oh my gosh, there's a million things that we're doing under the Joyous Health umbrella. So that's why just a couple years ago, we're like, you know what? We really need to separate these two businesses if we really want our products to thrive and we want more people to experience the joy of using our serums and our dry shampoo and our body butter. Let's really take the time. So we hired a branding design agency, and we decided to separate all of our beautiful, organic, locally made products from the Joyous Health brand and create a new brand, Hello Joyous. So we launched just about a year and a half ago. So that's why to our customers and to our community who have been following me since the early days, they know about Hello Joyous and because they've been using them since many years ago. But
Mm-hmm.
for new people finding us, they might know nothing about my personal brand Joyous Health and just love Hello Joyous because they love our mission and what our products are made of. But let me tell you, it was a really scary decision. It was initially Walker's idea to separate the brand from Joyous Health. And I was really resistant to that because I felt so tied to it. I felt like
Mm.
people buy our products because I've established that rapport and there's that
And the
credibility.
trust, yeah.
Yeah, the trust, that credibility of me as
Mm-hmm.
a holistic nutritionist and really being into natural beauty. So that was like a little bit scary for me. But I thought, okay, you know what? Let's just do this because I don't want to be the face of the brand for all history. I
Yeah.
want our
But you're
brand to
still
really grow.
associated,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Like my
Yeah.
husband and I,
So
like I said, we're the co-founders. Yeah.
exactly. So it's not like you're completely disconnected. It's just maybe
No,
like
it's just
less
it's not my
reliant on
face
just you.
plastered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes,
If you
fair.
go to our website, like you only find my face on the about page, which is
Yeah.
funny because oftentimes people will say to me, "Well, why aren't you all over your website?" I'm like, "Well, I want to be in behind the scenes. I'm front facing with my personal brand, but
Yeah.
with Hello Joyous, I am behind the scenes building the brand to, reach lots of people." So it was scary to do that, but it was the best decision ever because we really had fantastic growth. We have been growing really well over the last year and a half. We're in like 70 stores in Ontario now because we never had, when our products were under my personal brand, we really didn't have them in any stores. We were just direct to consumer. So now we have both. So we have Hello
Hmm.
Joyous is both direct to consumer, and we have lots of wholesale accounts set up with retailers across Canada. And it's always a work in progress, but we've had really fantastic growth for the last year and a half.
It's amazing. So was your main reason for separating it because you didn't want to necessarily be the face of the brand? Because
I
you could
wouldn't,
have
yeah.
technically done the same thing under your personal brand, right? So like for someone who might be in your position where, they've built this personal brand for themselves and now they're starting a product, like why would it be worth separating? Like, what are the benefits? And you're saying you've seen all this growth. Like,
Yeah.
how do you see that that is associated to the separation? And how come you couldn't or feel like you couldn't necessarily do
Hmm.
that with your personal brand?
Well, it's also like an energy perspective too, an energy, attention, and focus.
Hmm.
Separating Hello Joyous from Joyous Health. By the way, the products they were under the Joyous Health brand. Like they were not called Hello Joyous under Joyous Health. It became Hello Joyous when we created this brand.
Got it.
Um, is more like an energy and an intention. We wanted to separate it out so it has its own life and be its own thing, not just be cluttered under all
A
the like
part of
variety
something.
of
Yeah.
things that I do on my personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
We felt that it was just kind of getting lost in the shuffle of things. There was just too many things. You would
Mm-hmm.
go on joyoushealth.com and then, you find the shop. Whereas now you go on hellojoyous.com. It's all about the products. You can learn about them and it's not, a secondary thought. So we wanted it to be the primary thing. So that's why we're like, okay, now we run two businesses. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but part of it, of course, was I didn't want to be the face of it. I'm still very much part of it, but it was more so like putting the energy and the intention and like really working on, like, I would say more, if I look at my day, if I have an 8-hour day, I'm spending the large majority of my time now working on the Hello Joyous brand. So and that has been a big shift too, because it wasn't like that before. They were always just kind of, the products were just like there, people love them.
Right.
We had like our core loyal consumers, but
Mm-hmm.
we weren't reaching the masses by any means when we were just like, and we're still a small business, but we've definitely grown so much since we did kind of break off from Joyous Health.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. So obviously, now that you're selling in retail stores, you're also doing direct to consumer. Do you feel like one works better than the other for your specific industry?
That's a really good question. I think so. What has really helped about getting in with retailers is it helps us sort of balance cash flow, because when you have a product based business and you only sell direct to consumer, you may have 5,000 units manufactured of one of your products, and you're waiting to sell those to each consumer when you're only selling direct to consumer. So you're sitting on a lot of inventory waiting
Mm-hmm.
for it to sell through.
Yeah.
Whereas having wholesale accounts and having retailers, they're selling your products for you. So they're placing an order of, say, maybe it's 250 total products, depending on the retailer.
Mm-hmm.
And they're paying you for those products. So you're not waiting, to sell, you know, to each customer. You're
Right.
selling wholesale. So I think, now that we've been in this a year and a half. It's funny because I know a lot of other founders of brands, some that have been around for 25 years, and are now saying like they're tired of like the retail channel. They just want to do direct to consumer. Then you hear people say it's
I hear
all
that a lot.
about direct to consumer.
Really?
So yeah, it's really interesting. Everyone has a different perspective. So our key learnings has been, actually it's about both. They're both very important, and
Mm-hmm.
also having it in the retail chain is reaching a different customer, because
Yeah.
we were finding that we customers were always saying to us, I want to buy your products in store. Where can I buy them? And we'd be like, oh, sorry, you can just buy them online. So, there's
Why
still
would they
lots.
say that though? Is it because of like shipping costs?
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
still like to shop. They like to shop in person. They like to,
Yeah.
go buy their groceries. They want to choose their apples and they want to choose their serum and their body butter. So it's interesting. There are still a lot of people that enjoy shopping in person. So,
Mm-hmm.
we may not have reached that consumer. That consumer may have never known about Hello Joyous unless they shopped at Healthy Planet or whatever store they were shopping at, and then they saw our product. But then also, there's people learning about our brand because we're in that store, and then there's people happy that already, because they already buy our
Yeah.
brand. They
Mhm.
buy it online, but now they get to buy it in person too when they're doing their grocery shopping or shopping at like an eco. Like there's a lot of like eco beauty stores that also sell our products too. So I think having both channels so far, who knows if that will change, but I personally think having both channels is very valuable for us as a product based business, and I value them just the same.
Yeah, I think it's important. Balance is good, but like you said, take a look at your business, see what's working for you, and then adjust accordingly. Because it sounds like some people are like hell bent on going one way versus the other.
Yeah,
So
totally,
yeah,
totally.
yeah. If
I mean,
if
of
you're in,
course, when you're selling direct to consumer, you're having better margins, right?
yeah,
Because that's just a fact. That's the way it
the
is.
name
But
of the game. Yeah.
I just feel it helps, like it just helps balance the business having both, because you have cash flow, you have larger chunks of cash flow coming in when you're working with retailers as opposed to just waiting one on one. That being said, the large majority of our business is still direct to consumer.
Hmm.
Um, I'd have to look at what it, cause like, we're in a growth phase right now, but I would say we're probably about 75% direct to consumer, 25% retail. I could be off slightly. I'd have to double check that again, but it continues to be in flux as we grow in the retail channel more too.
Yeah, cool. So you moved and transitioned from, like making these products at home yourself. I'm assuming you have some kind of like manufacturing plant or
Yes, we
team
do.
that you're working
Yeah,
with now.
100%. Yeah, I don't make them myself
Yeah.
anymore.
And so like in that transition, because I do have a friend that kind of was doing something similar, making these products, and then she had to get approved by Health Canada in order
Yes.
to sell them in retail stores. So you're USDA certified organic, right? And
Yep.
I'm sure you're approved by all of the things. So like for someone who might be in those earlier phases, starting a product that is going to be going on somebody's skin, for instance,
Mhm.
what are the steps required, and like what are the costs associated? What is the timeline to like get all of these approvals?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends which way you want to go. I'll explain sort of like from our approach whenever, and it's helpful to say like because there are new products that I'm actually this year I'm in the process of formulating some new products, even though some of our products have been around for a while. So I
Hmm.
would say it takes anywhere from like 4 to 6 months to formulate a product if you're working with a formulator. I am not a formulator. So basically, I don't have a chemistry background to know like what ingredients can go together. I just know what
Hmm.
ingredients I like, what
Yeah.
I don't like. So essentially, how it works is I approach, there's a couple different formulators we work with. I approach them and I say, because right now I'm in the process of R&D on a hair serum. So I basically approached them and I said, these are like the top 5 ingredients I want in this hair serum. This is why. Can you
Hmm.
create this for me? So I would say the whole process takes about 4 to 6 months from start to finish. Every formulator charges a different fee. So it really depends. It can cost
Where do you
anywhere
find a
from
formulator? Hang on, where
just
do you find a formulator?
yeah, yeah. So someone who's starting out doesn't know anything, I would just go on Google and just type in like skincare serum formulator, shampoo formulator. There are so many, but I've
Okay.
used my personal contacts because I know a lot of people in the
In the
industry.
space. Hmm.
So, the person who we are also working on some shampoo and conditioner bars, the person who's working on that is different than the person we're also working on a lip serum is different than the person working on that because
Sneak
that's
peek,
more their
guys.
expertise. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Few things in the
So,
pipeline.
yeah, so it can cost anything. Like there's a company in Mississauga who charges anywhere from $500 to $2,500. But it is, if you don't have the knowledge and the education to formulate and it's going on someone's skin, you need to hire a formulator.
No, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. You don't want to
Sometimes
mess around with that.
yeah, and sometimes like formulators just work like they're a scientist and that's all they do. All they do is create a formula for you. Then you have to go and find someone to manufacture it. So
Oh,
it just so happens that sometimes the formulator is within the manufacturer. So it's like,
convenient.
it works out great. The person who's formulating is also going to produce it and manufacture it for you as well. So all our products are made in Ontario, like basically in the GTA. And so for someone just starting out, I would say like just ask around, ask other people who have businesses, who have products based businesses. Like don't be afraid to I'm always happy to chat with people, but I mean Google is great too,
Yeah.
and then like ask for references because we've definitely worked with people before. There's like one particular, I won't say who they are, but there's one particular manufacturer who we were really having like quality control issues with, and we had to stop using them because it was
Mm.
just we can't have that. It has to always be consistent, always all the time. And then in terms of like the different certifications, like some manufacturers will be able to will apply for the certification for you, and then they just charge you for that.
Okay.
Others, like Leaping Bunny, we just got Leaping Bunny certified, which, by the way, is kind of like a funny. So that's like the cruelty-free certification. And what's kind of funny about it is that it's actually against the law to test on animals in Canada, but everyone wants you to have this certification because they
They're looking for it
yeah,
though.
the
Yeah.
average customer in Canada doesn't know that it's
Yeah.
illegal to
I didn't
test on
know that.
animals. Yeah, it's not
Oh, so
allowed
if
in
you're
Canada.
basically, if you're a Canadian based company, you
Product,
will
yeah.
automatically have product. Yeah. You'll automatically have that logo
Not automatically. You have to apply for it
still
and pay
apply to
for
it.
it.
But
Yes.
technically, if you didn't have it, it's almost as if you did because you
Yes.
cannot test on animals
Precisely.
regardless. Okay. Good to
That's
know.
why it's kind of funny because it's a marketing cost then. Like it's a
Yeah.
marketing cost
Yeah.
because you can't test on animal. Not that we would. We weren't
No.
testing
Yeah.
on animals. We wouldn't do that. But the customer's looking for that. So
hmm
having that is helpful. Having the USDA organic certification was really important to me because you can have an organic product. You can have a 100% organic product, but it doesn't have the certification.
hmm
So to me, I felt that was important to have the USDA certified organic. With our best-selling product, our Hella Hydrating Serum. By the way, I'll send you some products. Our
Oh, thank
best-selling
you.
product, our Hella Hydrating Serum, is actually not USDA certified organic, but that's because it has hyaluronic acid in it, which is not a product of agriculture. So it has
Mm,
just organic cold, which is organic, certified organic cold pressed rosehip oil and hyaluronic acid. So you can't certify a product that is not, that has ingredients that are not from like farming, right? So that's why all of our other products are USDA organic. But I mean, no one's ever said this is not USDA organic, but if they did, that's the reason why, and it doesn't mean that it's any less of a product. So I guess the question is like, how important is it to have that certification? I think that it really boils down to like you as a business, like how
hmm
I think it gives us an extra edge because when we're approaching retailers, that's a talking point for us. We're certified organic. We are. You can find us on the Think Dirty app. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's an app where you can look up a product and look up how clean it is.
I've used
So
Yuka before.
yeah, the Yucca app. Yep, we're on there
Similar.
too. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can find us on there as well. But there's so many different certifications to get. We're also I don't know if you've heard of 1% for the Planet. So that's a really amazing organization. We're also very proud of, and we share about that on our website. So 1% of our annual sales go to 1% for the planet, and they support like globally all different not for profit businesses around the world. And you can actually specifically direct where you want your money to go,
Oh, cool.
or you can just give them that 1% and then they decide. But it's all like really, really amazing businesses.
That's a great resource for their entrepreneurs if ever they're interested in giving
Yeah,
back in some way.
totally.
It's a small percentage, but if everyone can contribute that like small bit, it really does have an impact, which is amazing. So we spoke a lot about all these like certifications and stuff, but I know that greenwashing in your industry is a thing where these
Oh,
products,
huge.
claim to be organic and all these good things, but when you turn the label over and really read the ingredients, they're not so great maybe for us, right? So like what's that been like for you kind of navigating that space and being able to truly stand out and be like, hey, we are not like them, right? And then how frustrating is it for you to then see these other brands basically in a way manipulating people into buying their products?
Yeah, I actually find it, I try not to get frustrated about it, but sometimes it's really frustrating because like so many brands say that they're clean beauty. And sometimes I
hmm
think like, I believe that they might truly think that these big conventional brands who have these clean beauty arms, I'm like, okay, no, that's all like they have an offshoot of their conventional brand. They have a clean beauty line. I'm like, that's just all for marketing. You're just trying
hmm
to please the consumer because it's like, the industry is like growing
But
every
how can
year.
they make those claims? How can they make those
Yeah.
claims?
Yeah, because it's just all marketing. Clean beauty is not a regulated term. Natural is not a regulated term. So really it comes down to the consumer having the knowledge to know what's clean. And most people
Mm,
don't know. So that's
no.
why, I'm really passionate as much as possible at educating people because like Hello Joyous is actually clean. And, one thing you can look at is water. How many skincare brands, their first ingredient cleansers, that's a great example. Cleansers, so often you see the first ingredient is water. And you might be thinking, well, water, what's wrong with that? Well, water is a filler, it's a cheap filler. As soon as you put water in a product, Water breeds bacteria. You have to add preservatives. And these brands
Oh,
that want their product to sit on the shelf for 2 years, 3 years and not grow mold can't be relying on like vitamin E and truly natural organic ingredients to preserve it. They're adding water, they have to put synthetic preservatives. So as soon as you see water on a product, then you know that there's going to be other ingredients in there. And then are you just paying for expensive water? So we like to say that we're waterless, and you might be wondering, well, you have a toner. How is your toner waterless?
mm-hmm.
Because this gets into like the nitty gritty. Most toners, if you look at them, the first ingredient will be water, and then you have all the distillates. Like so distillate is a more gentle way to take advantage of the benefits of an essential oil. So
Okay.
essentially what we do, instead of putting water, we take all the organic plant matter, we distill it, and then all that distilled water with all that goodness, those phytonutrients, antioxidants, we take only the distilled water. It's called flower water. We take only that water and put it in the bottle. So we're not
Cool.
putting water in and then
Mm-hmm.
putting in the distillates. And then how do you know how much? In most cases, the ingredients are listed by largest to smallest in
Yes.
beauty and in
Mm-hmm.
food.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we're waterless, and we love to shout that to the mountaintops. We don't have any additives or any preservatives. Like every single ingredient that we use has a functional benefit to the customer, to the person using it. And I think that's why when people try our products, they love them so much. It's just really hard. It's hard being a skincare brand because it's so hard to like get through the clutter because everyone's
Yeah, there's
saying
so
the
much
same thing.
competition too. Yeah.
There's so much competition, but I really feel that like when people actually try it, then they notice the
The
difference for
difference.
themselves. I was doing my grocery shopping yesterday at a health food store. This happens all the time, and I'm like, I need to like record this or like share this, so I'm sharing it with you. So often
We'll
people
share
come
it
up
to the
to me.
masses.
Yes, I can't tell you the number of times, multiple times a week, people will come up to me. I don't even know them. They'll be like, oh my God. And this is in Ontario, right? In
Hmm.
Toronto. It's a small town, even though it seems like a big town, but it's definitely a small town when you think how many people you just meet. But, anyways, lots of people come up to me and say, hey, are you Joy? Oh my God, your products have transformed my skin. And it is the
Amazing.
biggest compliment to me.
Yeah.
It just makes me so happy. And it's like, how can I get more people experiencing that? And that's just because when it's like pure, simple, we really focus on skinimalism. That's been a big part of our marketing. So skinimalism,
Skinimalism?
yeah,
I
skinimalism
love
is the concept.
that.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever
that's
heard
like,
that before. Did you make it
okay,
up?
good. What's that?
Did you make
Did
that
we make
up?
it up? No, I did not make it up. I heard the term like 5 years ago. I don't even remember where I heard it. And we talk about it all the time because it's the concept that less is more.
Yeah.
Your skin needs less than you think.
Yeah.
Your skin needs fewer products and fewer ingredients. That's why you'll never see us with like 50 ingredients. Like our main
Hmm.
skincare is our bundle, which is a cleanser, a toner, and a serum. The serum can replace your moisturizer because it hydrates and moisturizes. But yeah,
Hmm.
we're all about skinimalism and really trying to educate people on that concept. So I'm glad we had the opportunity to talk about it today, and I could share skinimalism because we really try to get that word out and teach people about like what that means. And now that we're talking
Hmm.
about it, I feel like I need to like see if I can find where the origin of that came from because I
Yeah,
actually
I'd
have
be
no
curious.
idea. Maybe we've just kind of like morphed it into something that we like, but it's the best way to describe Hello Joyous.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And I'm actually super excited to try your products because whether I knew it or not, I think I've been on this skinimalism journey myself.
Amazing. Yeah.
And I just, I used to use all kinds of shit on my face and switch products here and there. And then, over the last several years, I've really like everything in my house, like we've switched to just like clean. So obviously I
Amazing.
appreciate just like your whole product and brand in general, but on my skin especially, I don't really wear makeup on a day-to-day basis. I'll wear
Good.
makeup, for an event and this and that. And
Yeah.
so like clean makeup too, like when we
Yes.
were talking about greenwashing, I'll go and I'll use the Yuka app and I'll scan the things and all like there are so many of the big brands that you'll scan their so-called clean
Yes.
products And there's like a bunch of things that are flagged on this app, right? Letting you know, like, hey, like these things are not the greatest for you. And,
Yeah.
you know, you do have to also understand like why they're being flagged. So I'm starting to learn and have a better understanding, but I'm also not like a specialist. So I definitely rely on the app to kind of raise those red flags for me. But then if there's like a couple of flags raised, I'll maybe look further into them to be like, is this really that bad
Yeah.
for me kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a good way of looking
Um,
because they're not all like, there's definitely a range of
yeah.
how bad it is. So that's actually really good you're taking that extra step. You know what? I have a tip for everyone and for you as well.
Hmm.
Into a simple way to determine if it's greenwashing, I'd say more often than not, if their claim to why it's clean is that they're paraben free, then you can, if that's like the first thing that it says on their website, or that's like what's printed right on the front of the label, you can pretty much guarantee that that's greenwashing, because a truly clean brand goes way beyond paraben free. And what a lot of these conventional beauty brands do, because parabens have such a bad reputation, what a
Hmm.
lot of these brands have done is they've removed parabens and then they've just put formaldehyde releasing preservatives in there. So, okay, you don't get parabens, but now you're getting formaldehyde releasing preservatives. You see that all the time in the food industries too, right? I mean, gluten free is a perfect example of greenwashing. Gluten free on some ice cream sandwiches. Okay, but they're loaded with sugar and preservatives. So
Yeah.
that's I feel like paraben free has become a greenwashing term. Other things, like
Interesting.
if you see it has like when you see a label and it like looks clean and there's like a nice field or there's flowers, like you just always have to read, or like you said, use the app. But
Hmm.
really, the more you use the app, then you get familiar with certain ingredients. And fragrance is a big one.
Yeah.
Like we don't use fragrance or perfume in any product. And I'm very anti fragrance, because that is,
Hmm.
fragrance can mean hundreds of different chemicals, hormone disrupting
Yeah.
chemicals. So you see
So
fragrance all the time in clean beauty. It
if you
drives
get
me
like a, it'll
crazy.
be natural fragrance. So from like essential oils, right? Like that's not
Yes.
considered fragrance.
Correct, but it has to
Okay.
say the essential oil names. If it just says
Yes.
natural scent or natural fragrance,
Hmm.
that could mean 200 different ingredients. I'm even,
Yeah.
and when it comes to food, I'm even careful about naturally flavored, because it's not really
Yeah.
that
Well, no, it's
natural.
flavored. Yeah. That's
Yes,
still, for me, it's like the
exactly.
flavored word. When I read that, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
that's
And
not
it just,
the
you can tell by
ingredient.
the taste. When you eat like
Yes.
really wholesome, simple foods, like I always find like all those different beverages that are like zero sugar and then they're flavored, like those like healthier pops, I just think
Hmm.
most of them taste terrible because they have
Yeah.
so
Agreed.
much flavor added to them. Sure, they don't have calories, they don't have sugar,
Yeah.
but they
I
just
hate that
taste,
artificial taste.
yeah, they
Yeah.
taste so gross. So I'm very
Hmm.
anti fragrance, anti perfume. All our products are so gentle on the skin, and really for everybody. So that's,
Yeah.
I love hearing someone who has super sensitive skin, or someone who has acne, or someone who is older and has really healthy skin enjoying our products. Because when you just give your skin what it needs, it doesn't need a lot. You don't need to layer on like 10 different products like all these kids are doing at Sephora. All
I
these
know.
like tweens and teenagers layering on like, 10 products. It's not healthy for your skin microbiome, which is a whole
Yeah.
other discussion.
I have to say, like the last 6 months, I've avoided like every product. I've been using water. I mean, obviously when I have
Yeah.
makeup, it's different.
Yeah.
Um,
That's good.
but
That's great.
just fucking water and my skin is
Yeah.
beautiful. Like it
Yeah. You know
feels
what?
so good. I don't need all of this other stuff. Like that's a fine line. It's like where do you decide like, oh, I want to use these like anti-aging things or whatever to like prevent and preserve your youth and your beauty when like I feel like I look my best when I use the least almost.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Well, your skin does look great. So, I mean, your
Thank you.
skin microbiome and your skin pH is probably really healthy, because you're not, because so many cleansers are so alkaline and your skin
Hmm.
is not healthy when it's super alkaline. Even like someone who just uses like Dove soap, it seems like such a like a neutral product. It is like a 9 or 10 on the pH scale. Your skin
Mm,
should be around like 4.75 to 5.5, 5.75. That's, your skin actually needs to be more acidic to be healthy. So because you're just using water, because you're not wearing any makeup, that's perfect. That's about like, keep doing that.
Thanks. But I will try your cleanser for
Yeah,
sure,
I'll
because
definitely send you some because I think you'll really enjoy it.
amazing. I'm so excited. This has been such a great conversation. I feel like I've learned a lot personally too.
Good. Amazing.
So hopefully everyone listening, it's like a good balance of like business and then also just like the shit like we care about, like our
Yeah.
skin, our bodies, what we consume, at least what I hope people care about, because we should be caring about this stuff. So
100%. What goes on your body gets in your body. People care
mhm,
about the food they eat. Well, some people care about the food they eat. So,
yeah.
those are the people that we're probably speaking to. People
Yeah,
who don't care about what they eat and what they put on their body. Maybe not the right customer, the right consumer of this information, but they'll get there. There's always
that's
hope
it.
for people.
Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, like we're talking entrepreneurs here, and we know that like entrepreneurship is consuming, it can tear you down if you don't
Mhm.
balance so many different other aspects of your life. So, paying attention to yourself and your health and how you feel and what you eat, your energy levels, like all of these aspects obviously play a big role in your life as a whole. But we do know as entrepreneurs, like it can be challenging at times. Sometimes you might have sleepless nights, but the goal here and like what I'm trying to preach through the Mindfulpreneur podcast is finding that harmony in all of those aspects. I'm trying to switch between
Mm,
saying like balance to harmony, because I think
I like
like
that.
when people say, someone shared this with me and it really resonated, because I've always, you always talk about like work life balance, and it almost separates the two when
Mhm.
everything is so intertwined. And like obviously you don't want work to like fully consume your life to the point where like you're not doing other things that make you happy, but at the same time it is somewhat all consuming. So it's like, how can we find that harmony where like you feel good about all of the things and they coexist together instead of separating them? And so
I
I'm
agree.
kind of trying to change my definition there. And that's something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs can resonate with, that maybe people who are working full-time jobs don't have the same perception of,
Mhm.
how involved your business can be with your day-to-day life.
Oh, 100%. And I actually hate the word balance too because it means I don't know. I feel like I've never accomplished anything awesome when I've been totally in balance,
Mm,
to be completely honest. But I feel like when I'm feeling like I'm spending too much time working, then I'm aware of that and then I do things to really support my well-being. So it's always like
mhm,
it's like always finding that harmony, like you
mhm,
said. It's
mhm.
not about perfection and being like perfectly work-life balance. I'm like, what even
No, it
is
doesn't
that?
exist. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that
doesn't
doesn't
exist. It's
exist.
just like when I'm starting to not feel my best self, that's my cue to be like, okay, but I really try
What do
not
we
to get
need?
to
Yeah.
that point by making my nutrition my priority, nature,
Mhm,
all the things. Because it's so easy to burn out as an entrepreneur.
mhm, for sure. So what's next for you? Let us know. What are you up
Yeah,
to now?
so yeah, I think I kind of alluded to, well, sorry, on my personal brand, I'm working on my fourth cookbook.
Oh,
So
yes,
that's
fun.
very exciting. And it's going to have like a more sort of beauty angle to it,
Mm,
recipes. And
mhm,
then on the Hello Joyous front, I alluded to a few things that we're working on. We've been working on a shampoo and conditioner bar. We're working on a hair serum. We're working on a lip product. So not all of these things will come out this year. We'll kind of like space them out, but these are all things that I'm really excited about. Like I love new product development. It's a lot of fun for me. So we'll have something new come out in the fall for sure, and we're just continuing to grow and reach as many people as possible. Just getting people experiencing certified organic beauty and treating their skin with joy.
yay. Love it. Well, I'm definitely going to be following along. Before we end, I do want to do our little mindful minute where I ask you to share a piece of advice, something that, you know, we can't just learn from a textbook or from school, something that life has taught you, whether it's business or your personal life, that you feel everyone listening today would be able to benefit from.
What has life taught me? That I need to take care of myself, that no matter what, I have to make myself a priority. And that can, especially for people listening who have kids, that can sometimes feel like, oh, like, no, my children are prior. I have a
Mm,
child too.
yeah.
But if I don't make my health a priority, then I can't be the best mom. Then I might
Yes.
be grumpy or short or not as kind, not kind to my partner. So That's the one big thing I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs need to hear is that you need to make time to exercise, to make lunch. Like if
Hmm.
you need to set a timer to tell you to stop working and go and make
And
yourself
listen to
lunch.
the timer because I feel
Yes,
like
yes,
we've all
that's true,
pressed the
right?
snooze button or cancel.
100%.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, I make those things a priority because like it's like gets you on this like upward trajectory of feeling good and
Hmm.
experiencing optimal health. And when you feel good, you want to stay in
Yes.
that zone of feeling good. And you know, when you don't have enough energy and you're just getting by drinking 10 cups of coffee a day, you know how terrible that makes you feel. So when it's about little things. It's not about perfection. It's about the
Hmm.
little things. Like if I feel like, oh crap, I don't have time for a workout today, then maybe, I'm going to do squats at my desk and that's going to make me feel better. Or I'm going to take 5 minutes away from my desk and like run up and down my stairs because I work from home and I
Hmm.
have a few
Yeah.
sets of stairs. But just those little things, like honestly, it's just like the little things. They do make a difference. I feel totally
Yeah.
more productive and energized when I take breaks.
I agree. And I like preach that too. I think you need that downtime to find that inspiration and to be able to get that energy back. Thank you so much for
Yes.
sharing that. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, my
Where can
pleasure.
everybody go to learn more about Joyous Health, Hello Joyous, and just you in general?
Yeah, so you can Hello Joyous and Joyous Health. By the way, that's Joyous, are on Instagram. We are online, so just joyoushealth.com or hellojoyous.com. And you can find us there. And we have, so much content for you to learn from. We have a blog on Hello Joyous as well, where we talk about so many different things, caring for your body, your hair, your skin. So there's a lot of free resources for people.
That's great. Do you happen to have like a list of your go-to products? Like we spoke about sunscreen. Like I'd be curious to know if you've curated a little list of sorts.
You know what? I need to go and see if I still have this on my website, but on joyoushealth.com, I used to have this joyous approved section. I just feel
Oh,
like I haven't, it's kind of fallen by the wayside. So I have to go and look and see. I'll send you a link if I still have, but yes. Oh, in terms of sunscreen though, I'll send you a link. I did do a big long review of like my top favorite sunscreens and why. I can send that to you. So I did a big review like 2 months ago on the best natural sunscreens out there.
okay,
So
amazing.
that's
I'm
on
sure everyone,
joyoushealth.com.
yeah, I'm sure everyone listening will benefit from that too, it being summer. So if you're
Yes.
curious, that's definitely a good resource. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here, Joy, and thank you
Oh, my
to everybody
pleasure.
listening today. We will chat next week. Bye.
Awesome. Bye.